This is video 4 of our virtual piano code along. In this video we are going to be taking our piano with our single key that plays a sound, and we're going to be creating multiple keys. So to do this, the first thing I'm going to have to do is go into my HTML, and I'm going to do an amount of copying and pasting. So I'm going to highlight the key, copy it, and then paste it several times. Let me drag the screen so it looks a little bit nicer for us. There we go. And you'll see a bunch of red dots here down the left. This is basically saying your ID that you've created needs to be unique, and it's not currently unique. So I'm going to call this the B key, the C key, D, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to hit run, and you'll now see down here that I've got a piano with several keys on. Okay, and just to reference back to video 2 where we added the key class, so you can see the ID needs to be unique, but I'm reusing the key class over and over again to make each key look similar to each other. And if I click each of them, they all work, but they are all playing the same sound at the moment. So that's obviously not what we want. We want each key to play a different sound as we go along. So what I need to do to change this is I need to go into my JavaScript where I've added my interactivity and playing my sound, and I need to update this. So at the moment it's pretty static. It just plays it loads the one sound in and plays it. So I need to load in a bunch more sounds and play the correct sound for the correct key. Again, I've copied and pasted a bunch of sound URLs down the bottom for us to use. Again, you don't need to use these ones, use whichever ones you want to, but they're there for you anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what's known as a switch statement. So a switch statement is a way of doing conditional logic. It's basically saying, if this scenario is the case, do this thing. If this scenario is the case, do this. If this is the case, do this, so on and so forth. So it's conditional. It's taking a value, and depending on what that value is, it will do different things. So to do this, I need to use the keyword switch. Then brackets to say what the value is that I'm looking for, and we're going to use this event value that's passed in. So event.id. So I'm not going to go into the details of event because it's an object, and again, objects are a later concept to cover. But to try and kind of give you a brief idea of what this is, where I'm calling the piano key press function and passing in this, which is a special keyword in JavaScript, this is referring to the HTML element in this scenario. And so if it's referencing this span here, this span has its own unique ID. I can grab hold of that ID down here, which is what I'm doing. So what I'm actually looking for is the ID of the key that's being pressed. So if I press the G key, this event.id should equal G, essentially for me. Then I'm going to use curly brackets, and inside here now is all of the cases that I want to say. So a case is saying if the event ID is equal to this thing, then do this. And the way I do that is I write the word case. I then say what the case is. So for example, I'm going to say A. So if event.id is equal to A, then do something. And I need a colon, and then I can write the thing that I want to actually do. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to set up the sound URL, set it to equal to an empty string, to some blank text. So that at the moment, if I tried to play the audio clip now, it would break because I've set it to be empty. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the sound URL to be equal to this noise if the A key is played. Okay, so again, just to recap, I've got my piano key press function, which is passed in and some event information. I'm setting the sound URL variable to be empty, to be nothing. And then I'm saying, based on what the ID of that event is, so the ID of the key, if the ID is equal to A, then set the sound URL variable to this information. And then down here where I'm using the sound URL variable, and then saying play, it will play that sound for me. So the next thing I need to do is say break. Break basically means that's the end of this scenario. So that's the end of the code I want you to execute in case of event ID being equal to A. And I can write as many cases as I want in down here. So I can say case, and the pattern's going to repeat now. Case B, colon, sound URL is equal to, and then I need to copy the next sound clip in, down here, and then break. And let's run this now and just see if it's working for us before I go any further. So hit the run button, and A and B are the first two keys, so they should be two different noises now. Okay, and if I hit any of the key, it wouldn't play a noise, it would break because the sound URL is empty. Yeah. So the other keys aren't playing because if I press the C key, event.id will result in C, and I don't have a case for C here. I only have a case for A or for B. So what I need to do is I'm going to do some copying and pasting just to save myself a little bit of time. Is paste this down here, change the B to C, and then I want to copy in the rest of this URL. Hit run, and now the C key should work for me as well. Okay, I'm not going to do all of these cases with you because again it's a lot of copying and pasting. The logic still applies, but you want to do a case for each key that you've got there. So you want to do a case for A, case for B, C, D, E, F and G. So I'd recommend typing this out to get used to it, but also as reference you can go into your other tab, you can select the fourth save point that I've created, because this is the fourth video, and down here you'll see all of the code. So you could copy and paste it from here if you want. But again, if you've got the time, I'd recommend writing it all out because that will just help you remember it. The one thing to say that I've got down here is you can set a default case, and what default means in this scenario is if none of the cases are matched, so if you create a key that doesn't match A, B, C, D through to I, then set up the sound URL with this sound here. And that's our conditional logic, our switch statement, and our piano with multiple keys. Just got that open, so you can play multiple sounds with it.